1981, Jenner Rally, Austria. The boxy Audi with the 5-cylinder turbo and all 4 wheels driven crosses the Monte Carlo finish line 17 minutes ahead of the entire field. 17. The rulebook says nothing forbids permanent 4-wheel drive on tarmac and gravel. By March 1981, every other manufacturer is building prototypes. By 1991, Audi has won 73 World Championship rallies, back-to-back manufacturers' titles from 1982 through 1984, and forced the entire sport to rewrite what a rally car is. Park notes and homologation documents most people never see, and from the FIA's own homologation files stored at the World Rally Archive in Turin, which include the actual material spec sheets, weight distribution data, and torque split calibrations submitted by Audi Sport in 1980 and revised 9 times through 1987. Now back to the information. Ferdinand Piëch, then head of Audi's technical development, drove a prototype VW Iltis military vehicle with permanent 4-wheel drive through snow near Turicher Höhe in February 1977. The Iltis climbed where a front-drive Audi 80 couldn't. Piëch ordered engineer Jörg Benzinger to package a turbocharged 5-cylinder engine, permanent 4-wheel drive, and a center differential into a production coupe body. The result? The Ur Quattro. 2,144 kilograms, 200 horsepower in road trim, homologated in 1980 with 214 units built. The Group 4 rally version hit 300 horsepower by 1981, then 350 by 1982. The center differential housing is cast aluminum, weighs 14.2 kilograms, and contains 47 individual parts. 3 prototypes break during testing. Engineers revised the design 6 times before homologation. The press calls it a fluke. The next rally is Sweden. Mikola wins by 8 minutes and 12 seconds. Sweden is snow and ice for 1,615 kilometers. The Quattro's torsion center differential splits torque 50-50 under normal load, then shifts bias when one axle slips. The Lancia 037 rear drive can't match traction. The Ford Escort RS 1800, also rear drive, loses 4 minutes on the first day alone. Ford's rally director Michael Kranifus flies to Ingolstadt in February 1981 to inspect the Quattro. Audi denies access. Lancia's technical director, Sergio Limone, requests FIA clarification on 4-wheel drive legality. The FIA confirms permanent 4-wheel drive is legal under Group 4 regulations. Limone begins development of the Lancia Rally 037, knowing it must remain rear drive to meet weight targets. Peugeot starts a secret 4-wheel drive program in March 1981. The project becomes the 205 T16 unveiled in 1984. Every manufacturer knows, adapt or die. Over a 300-corner rally, that's 3.5 minutes of free time. The math is simple. The competition is furious. Tire slip occurs when torque exceeds the product of normal force, contact patch area, and coefficient of friction. By doubling the available contact area, the Quattro maintains grip at twice the power level. Physics, not magic. The course runs 286 kilometers, 51 stages, through the Ligurian Alps. Mouton beats Walter Rural's Lancia 037 by 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Her co-driver is Fabrizia Ponce. The pair finishes second overall in the 1982 Drivers' Championship with 107 points. Rural wins with 115. Mouton wins 4 World Championship rallies between 1981 and 1986. Her Pikes Peak record of 11 minutes 25. 39 seconds, set in 1985 in a modified Quattro S1, stands as the fastest time for a woman until 2012. Power output climbs from 300 to 350 to 470 horsepower in the Sport Quattro S1 by 1985. The turbo lag is legendary. Drivers describe a half-second delay between throttle input and boost arrival, then a violent surge. Stig Blomqvist, Swedish driver, wins the 1984 Drivers' Championship in chassis A2 at 010. He says the Quattro taught him to think 2 corners ahead. The valve train uses a single overhead camshaft operating 2 valves per cylinder through rocker arms. Valve timing is fixed, no variable valve timing in 1982. The camshaft profile delivers peak power at 6,500 RPM, but makes the engine gutless below 3,000 RPM without boost. The KKKK K26 turbocharger, used from 1981 to 1983, features a 68mm compressor wheel and a divided turbine housing. Maximum boost is 1.4 bar. The wastegate is pneumatic, controlled by a spring-loaded actuator. Boost rises linearly with engine speed until the wastegate cracks open at 1.35 bar, then holds steady. The system is crude but reliable. Turbo failures are rare, fewer than 3% across all 1982 rally starts. The exhaust manifold is tubular steel, equal-length runners, merging into a single 76mm downpipe. Exhaust gas temperature at full load exceeds 920 degrees Celsius. The downpipe glows orange. Engineers wrap it in ceramic thermal coating to reduce underhood temperatures by 18%. The turbo sits low beside the engine block to minimize intake plumbing length. Shorter plumbing reduces turbo lag by 0.08 seconds compared to a top-mounted turbo layout. The goal? Let manufacturers build wilder, faster machines. The result? The wildest era in rally history. Blomqvist wins the 1984 title with the short wheelbase car. He takes wins in Sweden, Greece, New Zealand, Argentina, and Ivory Coast. 5 rallies. The Quattro's reputation is no longer about traction alone. It's about power delivery that no rear-drive car can match. Weight distribution shifts from 58.42 to 54.46. Blomqvist crashes during testing in January 1984 at Åre, Sweden. The car spins at 135 kilometers per hour. He hits a snowbank. No injuries. Engineers stiffen the rear anti-roll bar from 24 to 27 millimeters. The 5-cylinder engine now displaces 2,110 cubic centimeters and produces 470 horsepower in rally trim, reaching 590 horsepower in Pikes Peak specification. Turbo boost hits 2.5 bar. The bodywork is wider, with massive flared arches covering 9-inch wide wheels. Weight, 1,090 kilograms. Power-to-weight ratio, 431 horsepower per ton. The cockpit smells like burning rubber and raw fuel. The transmission is a 6-speed manual with a viscous coupling center differential. Torque split adjusts from 25/75 to 75/25 depending on surface and throttle input. Total driveline weight, 41 kilograms. His notes on the S1's handling, preserved in Audi Sports Archive, describe snap oversteer at 5,400 RPM when the turbo spools. He recommends recalibrating the rear differential to reduce lockup under trailing throttle. The engineers comply. The revised setup debuts at the Acropolis Rally in June 1985. Blomqvist finishes third. Michel Mouton drives the S1 E2 in full Pikes Peak trim. 590 horsepower, 1,090 kilograms, unrestricted turbo boost. The course runs 99 kilometers, 156 turns, starting at 2,162 meters elevation and finishing at 4,300 meters. Mouton completes the climb in 11 minutes, 25.39 seconds, averaging 105 kilometers per hour. She beats the previous record by 13 seconds. The S1's engine uses a water injection system to cool intake charge at altitude. The fuel mixture runs richer above 3,500 meters to compensate for thinner air. Mouton's co-driver, Fabrizia Ponce, calls out altitude markers every 200 meters. The telemetry shows peak boost of 2.8 bar on the final switchbacks. The engine survives? Barely. The KKK K27 turbocharger compensates by spinning to 142,000 RPM. The water injection system injects a 50-50 mix of water and methanol at 2.8 liters per minute under full boost. Intake temperatures drop to 88 degrees Celsius. The 15-liter tank empties during the climb. Cabin temperature reaches 52 degrees Celsius. Mouton loses 2.4 kilograms through sweat. Her heart rate averages 164 beats per minute, peaking at 187. No power steering. The steering rack ratio is 16.1. Lock-to-lock requires 3 full turns. It wins 0 in 1986. The Peugeot 205 T16, also 4-wheel drive, dominates 1985 and 1986. Lancia's Delta S4, 4-wheel drive with supercharger and turbo, wins 6 rallies in 1986 before the ban. The Quattro S1 is fast, but it's also heavy and complex. Peugeot's engineers built a lighter mid-engine platform. Lancia's engineers stacked boost systems. Audi's engineers couldn't shed weight without abandoning the 5-cylinder engine. Group A replaces Group B in 1987. The regulations require 5,000 production units. Audi homologates the Audi 200 Quattro, a sedan-based rally car with a turbocharged inline-5 making 350 horsepower. The car is slower than the S1 but legal. Walter Röhrl wins the Ivory Coast Rally in 1987 with the 200 Quattro. It's Audi's last World Championship rally win. Lancia's Delta Integral, a lighter, cheaper 4-wheel drive hatchback, dominates Group A from 1987 through 1992, winning 46 rallies and 6 consecutive manufacturers' titles. The Quattro's advantage is gone. Everyone has 4-wheel drive now. The Quattro system appears in the Audi 80, Audi 90, Audi 100, Audi 200, and eventually every Audi model. By 1989, Audi sells 180,000 Quattro-equipped vehicles per year. The Torsen differential, developed in collaboration with engineer Vernon Gleesman at Gleason Corporation in Rochester, New York, becomes standard equipment. The system weighs 22 kilograms, adds $1,800 to the base price in 1985, and requires no electronic intervention. It's purely mechanical. Just gears and physics. Gleesman patents the design in 1958. Audi licenses it in 1980. By 1995, nearly every Audi uses Torsen differentials, front, center, and rear. The Quattro system's reliability record is exceptional. Fewer than 1.2% of center differentials fail within 200,000 kilometers in models built between 1985 and 2000. The device contains 2 side gears connected to the front and rear output shafts, and 6 pinion gears meshing with the side gears. When both axles have equal traction, the pinion gears don't rotate. Torque splits 50-50. When one axle slips, the worm gear arrangement creates resistance proportional to torque. The system automatically shifts torque to the slower spinning axle, the one with grip. The entire process is instantaneous and continuous. No delays, no slipping clutches, pure mechanical feedback. On tightening hairpins, the short wheelbase reduces understeer by approximately 1.8 degrees of slip angle at entry. On fast sweepers, the same short wheelbase induces snap oversteer when the turbo hits. Blomqvist's setup notes for the 1984 Ivory Coast Rally recommend stiffening the rear anti-roll bar by 30% to stabilize the car above 140 km per hour. The modification works. He wins by 6 minutes. The Quattro's 5-cylinder engine is unconventional. Inline 5s are rare. They produce an odd firing order, causing imbalance and vibration. Audi counters this with 2 balanced shafts running at twice crankshaft speed. The shafts add 8 kilograms, but reduce vibration amplitude by 68%. The engine's exhaust note is distinctive, a warbling howl that peaks at 6,800 RPM. Spectators recognize the Quattro before it appears. The sound is iconic. Turbo technology in the early 1980s is primitive compared to modern standards. The K27 turbocharger used in the Quattro S1 weighs 11.4 kilograms and takes 0.54 seconds to spool from idle to full boost. Modern turbos achieve full spool in under 0.3 seconds and weigh 6 kilograms. The K27's compressor wheel diameter is 78 millimeters. Maximum boost is 2.5 bar. The turbine inlet temperature reaches 980 degrees Celsius under full load. The wastegate is pneumatic, controlled by manifold pressure. There's no electronic boost control until 1986, when Audi fits an early solenoid system to the Group A 200 Quattro. The team's service truck is a Mercedes-Benz 1617 with a custom-built workshop module. Inside, 2 engine hoists, a tire changer, a wheel balancer, compressed air at 12 bar, hydraulic jacks rated to 3 tons each, and racks holding 2,400 spare parts sorted by weight and frequency of failure. The entire setup can be deployed and operational in 11 minutes. During the 1985 Rally San Remo, Rural's car suffers a broken front suspension upright on stage 8. The crew replaces the upright, both front dampers, and the right side drive shaft in 14 minutes. Rural loses 90 seconds but finishes the stage. He wins the rally. 0.8 bar during stages 12 and 13. Audi argues that altitude changes and temperature variations cause minor boost fluctuations. The FIA agrees. Mouton keeps the win. The scrutineering report, filed November 8, 1981, notes that her car's wastegate actuator shows were consistent with sustained high boost operation, but finds no evidence of deliberate tampering. The report is sealed for 15 years, then released in 1996 under FIA transparency rules. The controversy fades. Mouton's driving is too good to dispute. Temperatures range from -2 to 4 degrees Celsius. Micola's Quattro never loses traction. He wins by 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Second place is Opel's Jimmy McRae, rear drive. Third is Lancia's Attilio Bettega, also rear drive. The gap between first and third is 11 minutes. The Quattro's dominance is clinical. Micola's average speed across the entire rally is 104.7 kilometers per hour. McRae's average is 99, 2 kilometers per hour. The difference? Permanent four-wheel drive. His pace notes, written by co-driver Arnie Hertz, contain 4,147 individual calls across all 72 stages. Each call describes corner severity, surface condition, and camber. The notes are read aloud at speeds exceeding 160 kilometers per hour. Hertz's voice is calm. Micola's inputs are smooth. The Quattro never puts a wheel wrong. The surface is mud over gravel. Rain has been falling for 6 hours. Visibility is 3 meters. Mikola completes the stage in 18 minutes, 12 seconds, averaging 93.6 kilometers per hour. Jimmy McRae in the Opel Ascona 400 takes 19 minutes, 44 seconds. The difference? 92 seconds on one stage. McRae's rear-drive Opel slides wide on every corner exit. The rear tires spin. Forward progress is intermittent. Micola's Quattro hooks up instantly. Power goes down. The car accelerates. Over 72 stages, the accumulated advantage is insurmountable. These are production-derived cars, theoretically street-legal, with power-to-weight ratios exceeding 430 horsepower per ton. Modern Formula One cars in 1986 produce around 900 horsepower and weigh 540 kilograms. The power-to-weight ratio is 1,067 horsepower per ton. Group B cars aren't far behind, and they're racing on dirt, gravel, and ice. The announcement comes May 9th, 1986, 7 days after Toivonen's death. The official statement cites concerns over escalating performance and inadequate safety measures. The statement is 3 paragraphs, 57 words. No appeal process. Group B ends December 31st, 1986. Teams with millions invested in development are left with obsolete machines. Audi Sport disbands its Group B program in June 1986, 3 months before the final rally. The S1 chassis are sold to private collectors or destroyed. Only 6 original S1 rally cars survive today. 3 are in museums. 2 are in private collections. 1 is in Audi's Heritage Collection in Ingolstadt. The system is less sophisticated but 30% cheaper. Audi sells 27,000 units in the first year. By 1990, Quattro-equipped models represent 45% of Audi's US sales. The Quattro badge becomes synonymous with performance and safety. Audi's marketing slogan in 1987, Quattro. The advantage is obvious. Rural uses left foot braking, a technique where the driver keeps the right foot on the throttle and modulates braking with the left foot. This keeps the turbo spooled and maintains boost pressure through corners. Rural's telemetry from the 1985 San Remo rally shows he uses left foot braking on 78% of corners. The technique cuts lap times by 0.4 seconds per corner. Over 50 stages, that's 20 seconds. Rural wins the rally by 3 minutes. His setup notes recommend softer rear springs to allow the rear axle to rotate under braking without losing traction. The engineers apply the change. The car becomes more responsive. The chassis is a reinforced version of the production sedan. Weight, 1,280 kilograms. Wheelbase, 2,690 millimeters. The car is slower but more durable. In the 1987 Ivory Coast Rally, Rural finishes first, beating Toyota's Juha Kankkunen by 8 minutes. The rally runs through dense jungle, mud, and rivers. The 200 Quattro completes all 64 stages without mechanical failure. Kankkunen's Celica suffers 3 punctures and a broken damper. Audi's reliability advantage matters. Post-retirement, Mikkola works as a test driver for Audi Sport, evaluating Quattro system updates for production models. He tests 47 different Quattro configurations between 1988 and 2000, including the original Torsen differential, viscous couplings, electronically controlled clutches, and the modern crown gear system introduced in 2015. By 1995, permanent four-wheel drive is available on sedans, wagons, and SUVs from Audi, Subaru, and Nissan. The technology, once exclusive to rally, becomes standard. Audi's Quattro system appears on the RS2 Avant in 1994, a collaboration with Porsche. The RS2 produces 315 horsepower from a turbocharged inline-5. It accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.4 seconds. Top speed, 262 km per hour. The car uses Torsen differentials, front, center, and rear. Porsche engineers tune the chassis. Audi engineers refine the Quattro system. The RS2 is a commercial success. Audi builds 2,191 units. The Integral weighs 1,200 kilograms and produces 300 horsepower. The platform is a transverse engine front drive hatchback converted to permanent four-wheel drive with a Ferguson viscous coupling. The system is simpler than Audi's Torsen setup, but effective. Lancia builds 44,296 road legal integrals to meet homologation requirements. Audi can't compete on volume. The Quattro's era is over. Audi's final factory rally win comes January 17, 1987 at the Monte Carlo Rally. Mikkola drives the 200 Quattro 2 victory, beating Lancia's Massimo Biasian by 3 minutes and 12 seconds. The rally runs 1,138 kilometers, 33 stages through snow and ice. Mikkola's average speed is 89.4 kilometers per hour. It's his last win. Audi withdraws from the World Rally Championship at the end of 1987 to focus on circuit racing. The team enters the German Touring Car Championship, DTM, with the Audi V8 Quattro, a four-wheel drive touring car with a 3.6-liter V8 producing 420 horsepower. The V8 Quattro wins the DTM Championship in 1990 and 1991. The Quattro system finds a new home. Subaru, Nissan, and Mitsubishi choose viscous couplings for their four-wheel drive systems to keep prices competitive. Audi insists on Torsen for its superior response and durability. The decision limits Quattro adoption in lower-priced models, but establishes Audi's reputation for engineering excellence. By 2000, Audi sells 340,000 Quattro-equipped vehicles annually. The system is a profit center. The Sport Quattro S1's tube frame chassis is an engineering marvel. The frame weighs 180 kilograms and uses chrome molybdenum steel tubing with diameters ranging from 38 to 50 millimeters. Wall thickness varies from 1.5 to 2.5 millimeters depending on load. The front subframe mounts the engine, gearbox, and front suspension. The rear subframe holds the differential and rear suspension. The two sections are bolted together at 4 points with grade 12.9 fasteners torqued to 250 Newton meters. The chassis is rigid enough to support the 470 horsepower engine without flexing, but light enough to keep total weight under 1,090 kilograms. The S1 E2 she drives has no roll cage reinforcement beyond the standard S1 specification. No airbags, no hands device, a 4-point harness, a fire extinguisher, that's it. The car reaches 195 kilometers per hour on the fastest straight. The edge of the road is 30 centimeters from the right side tires. One mistake is fatal. Mouton makes no mistakes. The telemetry shows she lifts off the throttle only 12 times across the entire 99-kilometer climb. The rest is flat out or threshold braking. The Quattro's four-wheel drive is ideal. Sanche wins the European Rallycross Championship in 1984 and 1986, with a Quattro producing 510 horsepower. His car uses a custom sequential gearbox and adjustable torque split. The rear bias can be set anywhere from 30-70 to 70-30, depending on track conditions. Sanche prefers 40-60 for tarmac and 50-50 for gravel. The configuration offers better balance than an inline 4 and more power than a 4-cylinder at similar displacement. The 5 cylinders firing order is 1, 2, 4, 5 at 3. This creates a power pulse every 144 degrees of crankshaft rotation, smoother than a 4-cylinder's 180-degree pulses, but rougher than a 6-cylinder's 120-degree pulses. The result is a unique exhaust note and strong mid-range torque. Peak torque in the S1 is 550 Newton-meters at 3,700 RPM. The wide torque band makes the car easier to drive on loose surfaces. Drivers can short shift without losing momentum. Gumpert later founds his own supercar company, producing the Gumpert Apollo in 2005. The Apollo uses a twin-turbo V8 and rear-wheel drive, no Quattro. Gumpert's experience with the S1 teaches him that four-wheel drive is effective but heavy. The Apollo weighs 1,100 kilograms and produces 650 horsepower. It's faster than the S1 on tarmac, but useless on gravel. Gear ratios in the S1 are: first, 3.35 per 1, second, 2.16 per 1, third, 1.52 per 1, fourth, 1.17 per 1, fifth, 0.97.1, sixth, 0.82.1. Final drive is 3.89.1. The transmission weighs 68 kilograms and uses straight-cut gears for strength. Straight-cut gears are noisy but more efficient than helical gears. But the transmission whine is audible inside the cabin, even with the helmet on. Drivers describe the sound as a jet turbine in a Banshee. The clutch is a triple-plate racing unit from AP Racing. Clutch engagement is abrupt. Smooth starts are impossible. The car either stalls or launches violently. The margin is decisive. Blomqvist's driving style is aggressive. He uses full throttle through corners, relying on the Quattro's four-wheel drive to hook up where others slide. His setup notes emphasize soft suspension and high ride height to absorb impacts. Blomqvist's Quattro carries 220 millimeters of ground clearance, 40 millimeters more than standard. The extra clearance prevents underbody damage on rough stages. Blomqvist's technique is distinct. He enters corners fast, brakes late, and rotates the car using weight transfer and throttle modulation. The Quattro's front-biased weight distribution naturally causes understeer. Blomqvist counters this by lifting off throttle mid-corner to shift weight forward, loading the front tires. The rear lightens, the back steps out. He catches the slide with opposite lock and throttle. The Quattro's four-wheel drive prevents the slide from becoming a spin. The technique is called Scandinavian flick, but Blomqvist's execution is smoother. He uses the turbo's lag to his advantage. He lifts early, inducing rotation before the turbo spools. When the car is pointed at the exit, he floors it. The turbo kicks in. All four wheels drive. The car launches forward. The time gained is measurable, 0.3 to 0. 6 seconds per corner versus a traditional line. Radiator temperatures hit 112 degrees Celsius. The engine oil temperature reaches 138 degrees Celsius. The engineers install a larger oil cooler at the service stop in Yamoussoukro. The modification adds 4.2 kilograms but drops oil temperature to 124 degrees. The engine survives. Blomqvist pushes harder. Rural wins 42 of 51 stages. His margin of victory over second place, Lancia's Attilio Bettega, is 4 minutes and 18 seconds. The Quattro's grip on tarmac hairpins is overwhelming. Rural's telemetry shows he takes the tightest hairpins in second gear at 4,800 RPM, using the turbo's torque to slingshot out of corners. Bettega's rear drive Lancia 037 must take the same corners in first gear at 6,200 RPM, losing momentum on every exit. Over 51 stages, the accumulated time loss is catastrophic. Fuel pressure is 5.5 bar. The fuel pump is a Bosch 044 high-flow unit delivering 300 liters per hour. The fuel tank holds 120 liters, split into two cells. 80 liters in the rear, 40 liters under the rear seat. Total range on a rally stage is approximately 220 kilometers at full throttle. Refueling happens every 3 to 4 stages. Rear rotors are 300 millimeters by 28 millimeters. The calipers are AP Racing CP5100 6-piston units. Brake pad compound is carbon metallic, rated to 800 degrees Celsius. The pedal effort is heavy, 70 kilograms of force required for maximum braking. Drivers develop massive leg strength. Mouton's training regimen includes squats with 90 kilograms and leg presses with 180 kilograms. The brakes fade after sustained use. On long downhill stages, drivers pump the brakes to cool them. The rotors glow cherry red. The Quattro's weight and understeer on tight tarmac hairpins cost time. Lancia's rear-drive 037 is lighter and more agile. The 037 wins Corsica. Audi wins everything else. Improved cooling systems, reprogrammed fuel injection, and upgraded gearbox internals. The final homologation, filed in August 1987, covers the 200 Quattro Group A car. The document is 184 pages and includes complete material specifications, weight distribution data, and blueprints for every major component. The cars are hand-assembled at Audi's Quattro GmbH facility in Neckarsulm. Each car takes 42 hours to build. The price in 1984 is 203,850 Deutsche Marks, approximately $77,000. Adjusted for inflation, that's $224,000 in 2024. Buyers include wealthy enthusiasts, collectors, and professional drivers. The cars are street legal, but barely. The turbo lag, heavy clutch, and rock-hard suspension make daily driving miserable. Owners report fuel economy of 12 liters per 100 kilometers in city traffic. The exhaust is loud enough to violate noise ordinances in most European cities. The system controls fuel injection, ignition timing, and boost pressure. There are no traction control, no ABS, no stability control. The driver controls everything. The only electronic aid is a shift light that illuminates at 6,800 RPM. Drivers ignore it. The engine redlines at 7,200 RPM. Most drivers shift at 7,000 RPM. Over-revving is common. Engines are rebuilt every 3 rallies. Michel Mouton's 1982. Acropolis rally performance is legendary. The rally runs through Greece, 62 stages, 124 kilometers, in brutal heat. Temperatures exceed 40 degrees Celsius. The stages are rocky, rough, and dusty. Mouton wins by 6 minutes over Opel's Walter Rural. Her Quattro suffers 2 punctures and a broken exhaust hanger, but finishes. Mouton's physical conditioning is extraordinary. She loses 3 kilograms of body weight during the rally from dehydration. Her co-driver, Fabrizia Ponce, administers electrolyte drinks every service stop. The Quattro's cabin temperature reaches 55 degrees Celsius, no air conditioning, just heat and dust and noise. Stig Blomqvist wins 8, Walter Rural wins 4. The Quattro's win rate is 31% across 74 starts. The car finishes on the podium 58% of the time. The DNF rate is 18%, lower than competitors. The Quattro's reliability is its secret weapon. Other teams chase power and sacrifice durability. Audi balances both. Group A, with its 5,000 unit production requirement, favors volume manufacturers. Lancia, Toyota, and Subaru thrive. Audi, with its low-volume Quattro models, struggles. The 200 Quattro, though competitive, can't match the Delta Integral's development pace. Lancia updates the Integral every year from 1987 to 1993. Audi updates the 200 Quattro once in 1988, then withdraws. The Quattro's story ends not with a bang, but with a quiet exit. The Quattro's influence on modern rally is total. Every top-level rally car since 1987 uses permanent four-wheel drive. The WRC regulations mandate it. The technology Audi pioneered is now universal. Subaru's Impreza WRX, Mitsubishi's Lancer Evolution, Ford's Focus RS, and Toyota's GR Yaris all use sophisticated four-wheel drive systems derived from lessons learned during the Quattro era. Center differentials, torque vectoring, electronically controlled torque splits, all of it traces back to the Ur Quattro and the insane Group B years. The S1's low ground clearance and stiff suspension can't handle the rough terrain. Blomqvist finishes 4th. Rural retires on stage 16 with a broken drive shaft. The S1 is obsolete. Group B is dying. The Quattro's time is over. 6-liter all-aluminum engine. The car weighs 1,080 kilograms. It's the only four-wheel drive car in DTM. The competition is rear-drive BMWs and Mercedes. The Quattro system gives Audi an advantage in wet conditions. The V8 Quattro wins the DTM title in 1990 with Hans-Joachim Stuck, and in 1991 with Frank Biella. The Quattro legend continues on tarmac. The collection includes the original Ur Quattro prototype, chassis number 85, built in 1979. The collection also holds Hannu Mikkola's 1983 championship-winning Quattro A2, Michel Mouton's 1985 Pikes Peak S1 E2, and Stig Blomqvist's 1984 championship-winning Sport Quattro. These cars are static displays. They're not driven. Audi occasionally fires the engines for demonstrations, but the cars are too valuable to risk. Replacement parts don't exist. The cars are priceless. The technology defines Audi's marketing. Vorsprung durch Technik. Advancement through technology. The Quattro is the proof. The engine turns over. The Torsen differential still works. The car is shipped to Audi's Heritage Collection for restoration. The restoration takes 2 years and costs $470,000. The car is displayed at the Goodwood Festival of Speed in 2016. Mouton, now 74 years old, drives it up the hill. The crowd goes silent. The 5-cylinder howl echoes. The Quattro lives.